know I said I wasn't going to cover Envoy Hour every week, but then Steve just casually dropped some major updates about Preludes 11, so now we've got to talk about it. In Envoy Hour Episode 2, our community manager Sarah continued her Soulframe playthrough, this time joined by Digital Extreme CEO Steve to talk about the game. The Preludes 11 update still isn't here, but Steve gave us a lot more information about why it's been delayed, and I'm so happy about what we saw. The first thing he mentioned is that the Transmog system still needs a bit of polish. They're calling it bestitching, and given the complexity of the system, I'm not surprised that there are still some bugs to work out. I found it pretty endearing to see Steve logging bugs while he played on stream. I love the dedication this team has towards refining and improving Soulframe, and that mindset is a huge part of what makes me so confident in the game's future. Anyway, Steve also mentioned some changes to the world bosses, and yes, they are definitely coming with Preludes 11. Instead of a 23-hour timer, they will now have a 3-hour timer, so more chances to get their drops. He also said we would be able to share spawns the way we can share Mendicant King spawns now, meaning the spawn timer is attached to the party host, so once you kill the world bosses in your instance, you can join a friend's team to kill their bosses. If you're looking for folks to play with, join my Discord, link below. We've got a pretty active community and an LFG channel where you can find other envoys to help you with your farms. Anyway, speaking of the Mendicant King, he will count as a world boss, so his respawn timer will be changed from 1 hour to 3 hours, but Steve said his drop table would become more dense, which should amount to fewer kills but better drops. But the really big news that actually kind of shocked me in the best way is that the Moat rework is coming in Preludes 11. In prior dev streams, we were told that the Moat rework was not going to make it into the next update because it just needed too much work, but this seems to have changed. The devs are still not completely sure that the new system will make it into P11, but that is the current plan, so let's break down what we know so far. For starters, this is not called the Moat rework anymore, but it should still have similar gameplay to what we saw in DevStream 7, in that the new system will give us combat powers that are charged up through smites. Steve showed us a quick clip of a new song pattern and said that this is the music game for charming animals, which is how we will get our animal moats, although they won't be called animal moats. Steve said the team isn't completely sure yet what they want to call the new upgrades, but at the moment they're calling them whims, which I really love. It's not clear whether points of interest moats are getting phased out entirely or if they will still have some new function in the future. We haven't heard anything about that so far, but it will be interesting to see what the codex looks like for new characters in Preludes 11. Steve also shared that there will be 3 different types of slots that you can fit whims into: attack, defense, and utility. Each whim will be able to fit in all 3 slots, but it will have a different function depending on which slot you place it in. So, just doing some quick math here, let's say we get 1 whim each for the deer, bunnies, squirrels, and beavers that we can currently interact with in Soulframe. That already amounts to 12 new combat enhancements with this system, not counting the ducks that may not be coming in Preludes 11, or rats which are already in the game, so perhaps they'll get added eventually too. That's a ton of new possibilities for Soulframe combat, and I am so excited that we might get to try them out way sooner than any of us thought. I also noticed that during the clip of the new music game, you can see Steve earning the currency we saw in DevStream 8. Back then, this was what you were going to use to upgrade your moats, so it looks like we might also have an upgrade system for our whims. This is going to be so much fun, and I can't wait to start some whimsical build crafting. There were other bits of juicy information shared as well, like the fact that starting armor sets will be available for purchase in each of the faction shops, so we can in fact get all 3 of the new starting armor sets. More Ode-themed gear is coming in future updates, and it sounds like Soulframe's various options for customizing cosmetics will be a mixture of free content and options that can be bought with Novae, the premium currency equivalent to Warframe's Platinum. There's currently no way to buy Novae since Soulframe is still in pre-alpha, so I wonder if they'll be giving us more currency to test the new systems with, or if Steve was talking about something farther in the future. But either way, I'm not at all concerned about this. Warframe easily has the best monetization system of any game I've played, so I'm happy to see Soulframe adopting the same model. One other little tidbit I want to mention is that Steve made a point of telling us that Soul Mode is supposed to be called Spectral Sight. There is a tutorial early in the game that tells us this, but in the Preludes 10 keybinds, that key is called Soulsteel/Soul Mode. The team is definitely putting a lot of thought into names and terminology right now, so that makes me wonder if we might see other in-game terms get some clarification. When Steve talked about how smites are changing with the new combat system, he described them as
the little soul thing that opens up on people and they're color-coded and it looks virtue-based.
I found it very interesting that he didn't use the word smite here at all, and it makes me wonder just how big these smite changes are and what impact they will have on pact upgrades. Is Smite in general just changing to something else? Will we finally have separate names for making a soul vulnerable and tearing a soul out? Or am I just reading too much into things here? Either way, this stream was full of incredible news for Soulframe. Oh, and they shouted out another content creator, some YouTuber, I guess, I don't know. Thank you, Sarah, Steve, and everyone at DE for your kind encouragement. I am going to need to update just about every guide I've ever made, and I am so happy about it. Getting to be part of Soulframe's journey is tons of fun, so thanks for the shout out, and thanks to all of you who are watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to toss it a like, and let's all hope that my next video finally gets to cover what's new in Preludes 11. Until next time, happy hunting!